I started a few years ago thinking that when Avidly was growing really heavily on inbound marketing and we had a big legacy on brand building and kind of a traditional marketing. So I wanted to kind of explore or examine how to incorporate brand building with inbound marketing. And should we do that? And if so, why should we do that? And how that will affect the kind of impact in the latter parts. And I started from the studying the subject, and I came across with a few studies from different research companies. Now I wonder, can you see my screen as an A4, or can you see it as a slide?
We can see slides.
Okay, great. Then it's only me who has this A4 format now. Okay, so CSO Insight was studying about how B2B decision makers make their decision on potential suppliers. And they found out that 70% of B2B decision makers make their decision before anyone contacts them. So the kind of buyer's journey has started really early before even there's any contact. And at least in the Finnish international B2B companies, personal sales has been a very important thing, and fairs, trade fairs, and personal sales contacts, and this came as a surprise for those companies, not maybe to us who have been working with inbound marketing before. At the same time, Gartner's the new B2B buying journey was telling that typically there are 6 to 10 people deciding on the purchasing of a complicated B2B solution. And actually, every one of the decision makers has 4 to 5 sources of information they have individually gathered. So before anybody contacts them. And these information should not contradict with each other. So a lot of information, a lot of decision makers, no contacts. So who do they choose? Where do they find those suppliers, and who do they choose? Is it someone who builds those relationships by answering the questions online and this is a very kind of simplistic version of inbound marketing, answering questions, but I will use it as a metaphor for in the future also. But it is that answering the questions and taking them further in buyer's journey and into next phases and so. And HubSpot has been really about this buyer's journey and how to take people forward. This is our view on the HubSpot flywheel, but attract, engage, and delight. So I was thinking that what about the brands, and do the brands make any difference in this game, or is it only that who is answering the questions, giving the most information, and helping them to do the decisions, or is it the best brand who is doing it? But what is the best brand? What is the best brand in the B2B context? It's nothing to do about like the B2C brands, but it's something different. How do people think which is the best brand in B2B context? And I was thinking that when I started my career 25 years back, it was said that if you buy from IBM, you will never get fired. Yeah, it's very safe choice. And nowadays, many companies buy consultancy from companies like McKinsey and Company because it's really a safe. But why is it safe? So I came across that it must be trust. It's trust that they trust the companies. They trust IBM. They will do the job. They trust McKinsey and Company that they will do the job. So what does the trust mean in that? And I found out Rachel Botsman, who is an Oxford University fellow, the first trust fellow actually in Oxford University, and she has said that trust is a confident relationship with the unknown. It's when you are comfortable about what will happen despite not having a guarantee of what that will be. And this puts trust at the heart of how innovation and growth strategies work. And I thought that this is something really important. So that being comfortable about what will happen despite not having a guarantee of what that will be. So buying from IBM or buying from McKinsey and Company, you are comfortable, you trust them. You don't have the guarantee, but you are comfortable. So it's very important. So trust is kind of being a thought leader, that you are leading the thoughts on your area of business, and you can be comfortable that because they are the thought leader, that they will deliver. So what is the thought leadership then? So thought leadership, Michael Brenner, who is a keynote speaker and international keynote speaker and marketing strategist, he said that thought leadership is simply about becoming an authority on relevant topics by delivering the answers to the biggest questions on the minds of your target audience. Okay, we're back in answering the questions, but being an authority, building up the reputation, how do you do that? How do you get the authority on relevant topics so that you can answer the biggest questions? So I came up with a few things that brand building is actually thought leadership building. So first of all, you build up the thought leadership, you gain trust, and you become a preferred brand. So trust is the key. Thought leadership, gain trust, preferred brand. And Rachel Botsman has said that there are two different traits, what are kind of two different brand traits what comes to trust. So trust is not only that you answer the questions, you are about the content, because the capability traits are very easy in a sense to tell that's the traits that generate trust through demonstrating competence and reliability over time. So people trust that the brand has the knowledge and resources to do what it says it will do. It's a capability driven trust that takes time to build because you have to deliver, and then you earn that trust partly as a result. It's a earning trust is a very, very long practice. It takes time. You know, demolishing trust is really easy, and it's easy to do. And getting it back is again is a long story. But then there are the character traits. Character traits influence trust through the perception of brand's integrity and empathy. Do its intentions and interests align with your best interest as a customer? Do they match your own intentions and values? And this is something that we traditional marketers love to do. Tell you about emotions, tell you about what the brand represents, and it's something that traditional marketing has been very good in that sense. So combining these two capability traits and character traits was the thing that I thought that actually, if you think about the capability traits are the expertise and the character traits are the purpose. So the purpose and expertise has to be both communicated in order to get the thought leadership. And it leads to gain trust and the preferred brand. So my thoughts were that you must build trust in each touch point throughout the customer journey in order to be the kind of choice for the companies, to be the supplier choice for the companies. And each touch point will build the customer experience. And so the customer experience starts to be the key, and the customer journey, how to incorporate everything, the brand building, the inbound marketing together. And then I found this study from Forbes that 80% of the companies believe they have an excellent customer experience, and only 88% of their clients agree on that. So I came down to the fact that there has to be something fundamentally wrong what we are doing with the customer experience at this moment, if the clients don't agree that our customer experience is excellent. So in order to build the best customer experience, we have to combine these two approaches. how to build trust with purpose and expertise, and how do we answer the questions, build up the authority, and lead the people, lead the clients in the customer journey towards the buying decision. And this kind of this all this thinking led to the fact that I understood that if we want to make a better impact, we need to do those both. So it's a kind of a very easy way from purpose and expertise to building up the thought leadership, getting the trust, gaining the trust we need, being the preferred brand in every touch point, so we make a better impact both to the client and both to our sales. So how could this be leveraged into a tool, into a kind of system, how we can communicate and how we can build up our marketing as a total? And we started on a journey to building up a tool, a model for B2B marketing and sales based on these facts. So building the best customer experience throughout the customer journey, from purpose and expertise to the best impact possible. And that was so we had a few iterations on the way what we should do and what we should not do, but we ended up into a tool we call Tomorrow Wave. It might it seems a little bit fuzzy in the beginning, but if you start looking at it, it has very familiar things in the tool. So here you have at the end you have the flywheel. You have there the charm, the engage, the closing, and the serve phases. But in the beginning, if you look to the colored line, there's the strangers, where we need to raise the awareness. So that's how we kind of incorporate the brand building into the inbound marketing. So we start building up the awareness, we start building up the thought leadership in the beginning. We start building that up and we charm them. And as you know, if you charm them, they become interested, and we need to start convincing them. And this is where I find the brand comes very handy for all the B2B in the B2B context. So when they get interested, then you have built up the thought leadership, the authority in the beginning of the journey. And when they become interested, they believe in you. They believe that the things you say are true. They believe that you deliver the growth you are promising. They believe that your machine does what it's supposed to do, and so on and so on. So you get engaged. And as we saw earlier, that most of the personal contacts come later, maybe on the engage phase, or maybe even so late as closing phase. Or if you have a kind of a, let's say, a SaaS solution, it might not be a personal contact at all. It will be all done in the digital realm. But in the engage phase, you can start, leveraging the trust you have and engaging them, maybe into a dialogue, maybe into just reading more and convincing them. They become leads, you close, they become customers, and you serve, and they become promoters. But before they actually become promoters, in the serve phase, the thought leadership comes into the picture again, because the thought leadership is actually how to build the thought leadership is directed to the stranger phase, the charming phase, but it's also directed to the serve phase when your clients, your customers want to have the reassured feeling that they have done the right choice, and the thought leadership gives them more kind of a the understanding that they have made the right choice. So you can address thought leadership in those both phases of this. So we started using this, and we started doing the marketing strategy in this sense that first of all, we do the thought leadership in the beginning, then we start doing the content for interested people, then for those leads so that we get them engaged. We do the content for closing, we do the content for serve, again, the thought leadership and promoting, and so on and so on. And we ended up finding out that actually in all what we do in marketing, they all work together, and we can incorporate sales in every phase. So we ended up doing marketing and sales parallelly, not after one another, but marketing and sales work parallelly in most of our clients, so that you can really work together throughout all the phases, not only with the content, but everything marketing and sales related. So you can actually put everything you do in marketing and sales in these phases in this Tomorrow Wave, and put the brand on top of it to every phase. So why there's this the beginning in without the color is that first of all, we get a lot of data from everything we do, and we also have the future, the business, the human perspectives when we are building up the brand, and we need to base our insight and foresight and our strategy on that. So it's only trying to cover the strategy phase, but the most important, the marketing and sales phase, starts about the stranger and the customer journey. So this is an easy way of showing how the customer journey is going, and putting the customer in the center, the customer experience, and using this tool in everything you do, to be sure that you don't have any holes in the customer experience, on the customer journey, and that you are actually addressing all the possible customer personas, because they can have a little bit different journey. You're addressing all the customer personas and all the customer journeys with all the content and marketing and sales you do. I have found out that every client I've been working with has found themselves in this journey. And I believe this kind of a tool can help you to do the marketing and sales in the future in a more effective way, and having the impact you want to have. And now this is where I will end my kind of presentation in this, and I'm very eager to hear your comments and questions if you have any, that how this works, or is there any holes in my story. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Ismo. We'll just give everyone a few minutes to see whether there's any questions. There's been lots of comments throughout that it's a really great tool. Some people were finding it hard to read the Tomorrow Wave on the screen, but we're going to send slides out afterwards, so they'll be able to zoom into.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Zoom into it on there. There's a lot of information on it, so I think it's good to be able to break it down and digest it after anyway. So, are there any questions from anyone? So Paul has said.
Yeah.
Paul said that he likes the charm phase. He used to call it romancing the prospects.
But it is that. It is the romancing of the prospect, but it's also kind of the because it's the phase where you need to build up the thought leadership. It's not only about romancing. It's a little bit about trying to find those things that are most important for your clients, and build up those in those subjects your thought leadership. But be careful, don't choose such subjects that are important only for your company, so inside out. You have to think about outside in.
Amazing. And then Dave has said that, how do you agree the content priorities with sales?
It starts from the thought leadership. What we do is that we have a think tank where we have the most important players in the company, so the sales and marketing, but also the content specialists. So those who know, let's say, the technology inside out, because they are the most important people when you build up the content. Marketing and sales don't know so well what's going to happen in the future in the field of technology and everything. So those guys who really are good in the subject matter, you have to get them into the think tank and discuss what will be the most important subjects in the future in their field of expertise. And then you can find those subjects, which would be the thought leader subjects. And they also will come handy building up the sales and marketing content in the future. So we find the big subjects first, then we go deeper, and then we drop the specialists away, and we start dealing with marketing and sales, so that they can fight which are the most important, because the sales usually know what they have been discussing with the subject lately, and so on and so on. So we go deeper into that.
Yeah, it's definitely important to maintain those conversations, isn't it?
Yeah. But it starts from the subject matter and goes down to sales, and then marketing helps sales to deliver that.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like there's no more questions coming. But if anyone does have any questions at all, whether they crop up now or in a week's time, just feel free to drop me an email and I can get the answers from Ismo for you. Oh, we've got another question just before you shoot off, Ismo. Where is the track from engage leading from to? Are these the existing customers? So at the top, going off from the pink section.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to, that they are existing customers, so that when when they are away from that it's trying to depict the fact that the amount of customers will grow and grow and grow when you start, you get the wheel rolling.
It's almost like the flywheel, isn't it?
Yeah,
from that point.
It's kind of extended flywheel, like I always said to people, that I try to extend the flywheel with brand building and how the romancing. I like the romancing, but so that some romance into the marketing.
Oh, 100%. Thank you, Ismo.